Well, I guess it's pretty hit or miss with the algorithm. Nobody really cared about my last video. The video I did make, the one that appealed to general audiences, the one called, ah, shit, what the fuck was it called? Um, oh yeah, I called it, It's Over. That one seemed to have a lot of mass appeal. Got like 900 views in the last 2 or 3 days. So I suppose that's something. Maybe it's been a while. I don't know. 3, 4, 5 days even. I have no idea. I don't remember when I filmed it. I don't really care too much about these things. Um, I guess if it's if you're in the general audience, you might want to tune out at this point. This is not for you. For those of you who are sub fives or losers or just generally at the bottom of the barrel, this is where you might want to pay attention if you even care to listen. If you see any weird flashes, you know, in the video feed, that's not like my camera glitching. That's me like moving my hands around, making gestures, and my camera's covered with a piece of tissue paper, so it's not really the greatest. Um, it let me tell you something. Hearing about the exploits of your peers and you know seeing what they have that you lack is very insulting. For instance, the other day I was sitting around with some of my classmates. I guess you could call them friends. I wouldn't consider them serious friends. We just meet at school and talk, and that's it. But they were telling me about all the various cities in the region, some of which are, farther north in Ontario. Right? They've been to big cities like Toronto, and, they all know, like, at least three different routes from our area to Toronto. I don't even know which direction it's in. I don't even know which direction Toronto's in. I don't know a single route like there. And the last time I was there in Toronto, of course, that was in the summer for work, but I mean I wasn't driving. And the last time I'd gone to Toronto before then was 5 years. Well, not 5 years ago. 5 years and like close to 6 years. This was the summer last time I went, but I didn't go myself. I didn't do the driving. I didn't know the route, right? Like that's just one point I'm trying to bring up as an example. When you life is a large part of life is a luck of the draw, right? The right family, the right genes, the right socioeconomic background, which both of which essentially equal the right family, right? And also what you yourself are born with and figure out, right? Like some kids, they start growing up and they mature pretty fast. I don't know if it's something about the wiring in their brain, but they mature pretty fast, right? Like they're already as soon as they turn 13, as soon as they turn a legal working age, they get some kind of part-time job. Before that they're just running a paper route or helping out on like a neighbor's farm for money or something. Like one of my classmates, she was let me think, during during high school for her, right? I think she's like a year, maybe two younger than me. But either way, right, when she was, 15 or whatever, right, she was helping on a farm, right, saddling horses and moving hay bales and all that stuff. And it was pretty much a legit job, right? She was earning a good amount of money. Me, at 15, I was hanging out with my friends, watching memes on, the Chromebook that my high school gave me. Like I was being an idiot. And she's working in like not like a formal job, but like it was still a job, and she's still getting paid, and she's learning something. She's I think she's still she doesn't work obviously on that farm as much anymore, but she has a horse and she helps out with her friends' horses, so I mean it came in handy, right? And if she ever needs to, aside from actual work, on the weekends she can just I don't know, go do horse work for other people and earn some side cash, right? Just an example. And what else? Yeah, and you also, I guess, for some people, right? They endure or they go through some sort of big event and kicks them in the balls and basically tells them, "Hey, wake up! Time to get with the program and stop being an idiot. Start making a plan for your life and all that shit." And I don't need to go into all the mistakes I've made because there are a lot, but yeah, if you don't, in a large part, if you don't get lucky and if you don't smarten up quick, you're kind of fucked. Like, once you get around to about my age, right, people expect things of you. People expect you should have a car, right? You should have a lot of part time job experience, and, you should be like, I don't know, you should not be so stupid and, be a giant overgrown kid. I'm not going to go into the reasons why I don't have those things. I will just say that I did not get lucky and I decided to be a stupid idiot. And the not lucky thing is kept up, so I'm here. And, yeah. Obviously, a lot of times I kick myself, just like, come on, Trash Panda. Like, you could have been smarter than that. I will upload this on my other channel, Doomer Lad. So come on, Trash Panda / Doomer Lad. You could have been smarter than that. You could have done this. You could have done that. And then it's just like really? Like, you were an idiot at that age. You didn't know shit. Okay? You barely even knew how the internet worked. You barely even knew how YouTube worked. You really think you're gonna fucking, I don't know, be like other kids? And get a license at 16, get a car at 17, fucking figure all the routes by 18, 22 years old, I don't know, or 20 or whatever, move out and fucking, like, get your own place and shit. It's like, come on, like, get real, you know? Like, in hindsight, looking back, it's just like, oh, this was my chance. But at the time, okay, you were dumb. You had the intelligence of a goldfish. And that was me. Again, some people, right, due to the environment they are given, and due to their own genetics, and due to their own ability to reason and think and whatever, right, they make it. And if even if you're missing even one of those, life gets hard. If you're missing all of those, life sucks. I think that's what creates a lot of us sub fives, a lot of us excess men. We didn't get lucky. We didn't smarten up in time. We didn't know jack shit, which kind of matches up with we didn't smarten up in time. And that's kind of insulting to think, if a dice had rolled differently, we might be in a better place than we are now, but it didn't happen. There's nothing you can do. Just keep on struggling and hoping it means something and hoping it gets you somewhere, even though if you're going to be reasonable, you'll go to work and live in some crappy apartment that you can maybe afford to rent, but you can just, you can probably just barely afford to rent, and cheap copes like drinking and junk food and, mostly internet, pay your bills, watch the world go crazy, and then that'll be it, I guess. Just an average Joe, but worse off than the average Joe, because you'll be all alone and you won't have much money and you won't be able to go anywhere or do anything. You'll still be watching other people live their lives and you're just there like a little rat in a moldy basement. Just if you can embody us by one term, we really are just rats. All this scurrying around for the scraps, just trying to make it, trying to make up for the fact that God flipped the coin and our coin fell in the mud. It kind of just feels like for the rest of our lives, we're just gonna keep on trying to compensate for, that mix of bad luck and stupidity we were branded with, and we're never gonna make up for it. Like we're never gonna catch up. It's like that ship sailed a long time, amigo. That ship sailed before you even came out of that womb. It's like I'm sorry. And it's just so like it's just very cosmically insulting, to know that. It's just like, if maybe you had been born, a different year, or maybe you'd been born in a richer family, blah blah blah. I might actually be alive, but it's just like it's all speculation. You don't know if that could have happened, and the good Lord decided to flip you off and tell you, nope, you don't get that. The universe gave you a rock and a stick and told you to make fire, and the universe gave someone else a lighter and told them to make fire. It's like, obviously. I guess that's the best way I can put it. It's still cosmically insulting, but I guess the only real equalizer is everyone's going to die in the end, and eventually you'll be lowered into that grave, and in 2 to 3 generations, no one will really remember you, and you'll be eaten by worms, and the end. A lot of people have had good lives, and the years and centuries and millennia before us, and I mean, who remembers them? Nobody, right? Like that's the great equalizer in a way. That's like ultimate justice, so to speak. But at the same time, like they still got a good life, and the lower classes just didn't get anything. And I mean, same result, but still, you know, there's a difference between being an aristocrat and being like a serf. I mean, you both die, but the aristocrat was able to experience a lot more than the serf. In a way, that's what life is about. It's about experiencing and, using that experience to increase your knowledge and try and get more experiences out of it. Like, we're not here for a very long time, right? And obviously, we spend a lot of our time working for bills and shit and just trying to survive. And, we just hope, or I guess assume, that if we work hard enough, we're going to be rewarded and we're going to have enough money to spend on whatever we want. But one, that's probably not going to happen. And two, again, if you are not lucky, if you don't have a certain degree of luck, you're not going to fucking make it. As an example, Napoleon. The time he was born in allowed him to be able to become dictator and emperor of France and smack everybody around. If Napoleon had been born in I don't know, like 19 like like the 1800s, the late 1800s, right? Like he could have ended up as like just some standard soldier in World War One, goes over the top and he gets shot, and then on like his first day, and down he goes. No one knows the name of Napoleon. He's just some random French guy who got gunned down by a German, MG08. Like he did have good timing. Or for instance, who shall we say, right? A lot of these tech billionaires, I'm not, trying to make excuses necessarily, although maybe I am. A lot of these tech billionaires, they were able to see a trend that other people did not. And at the time, this was an untapped market, or a relatively untapped market, or at least, something where other people had ideas, but they hadn't fully, jumped on them. And these guys, Bill Gates and Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, they jumped on it and decided, screw it, I'm doing this. And it worked out. Right? Like Bill Gates could have easily failed and he could have ended up bankrupt and he'd just be like a nobody today, but he didn't. I'm not saying luck is the whole factor, but I think people underestimate how much luck really plays into, success and being able to live an actual life, depending on your definition of life. But, right? Just at least in the Western world, and at least for my example, at least in Canada, right? The ability to, have some mobility to move around, the ability to, have some money to spend it on what you want, the ability to indulge in your hobbies and interests, basically, right? The ability to, I don't know, build decent relationships with other people, blah blah blah, right? Like those are the three main pillars. And yeah, you do. Luck is a lot more important for that shit than we care to admit. But I mean, hey, right? Just tell the kids, go to school, work hard, keep trying, you'll make it someday. Even though you're not gonna, and you're just gonna end up a wagey in an office cubicle, and You're going to eat frozen TV dinners and you're going to be all alone for Thanksgiving and Christmas and every other holiday there is. Ha! I don't even know why I made this video. This is one of my longer videos. All I did was ramble on about like nothing. I didn't do any research, but I didn't really want to. I don't know. I'm just spitting stuff out into the ether, and you people can listen if you want to listen for 15 minutes. If you don't want to, just put this on 2 times speed. Same thing. That's what I do. I guess just yeah. So for any of my fellow losers out there, don't get your hopes too high. Don't expect too much. You know the hand you were dealt. You can improve that hand, but I don't think by that much. Maybe you can live somewhat comfortably, but you'll never be as good as other people. Obviously not. I'm not saying, like, oh, you'll be Jeff Bezos if you work really hard. Like, no, that's stupid. Just, the average Joe, you'll, I think we'll always be inferior to them. We'll always be beneath them. And by the time we do catch up, so to speak, right, we start meeting more developmental milestones that we probably should have met a lot earlier, but we didn't because of circumstance and stupidity and all that. It will be too late. You will be too old. You will be too tired. You will be nothing. How many people like us in throughout history have there been? They tried and they tried and they tried and they fought their whole fucking lives just to get a scrap of respect, just to get some food on the table. Oh, that was my alarm. Ignore it, right? Just some food on the table, just to be able to be a fucking human being for once. And didn't matter. They got sent off to some war and died. They stayed a peasant and died. They lost all their money and just lived in poverty for the rest of their days, or I don't know. They got in a car accident or something, like. Like, I guess what I'm really trying to say is just to all the fellow bottom feeders, hope is necessary to keep the human psyche alive. Hope is what keeps us going. Don't hope too much. You know this from personal experience. You have spent much of your lives hoping and hoping and hoping. Where has it gotten you? Nothing. Obviously, don't just sit around and don't put in any effort, but really, like, I doubt we will ever truly have the life that they advertise, that we will have the life of our peers. I think it will take us a long, long time to even catch up to the basics. And even when we do, well, we'll always remain, we'll always just be the scavengers, just, we'll have to know our place. God put us on this earth, and God condemned us before we were born, and he's still damning us to this day, and he'll damn us until the day we return to him. So, from dust to dust, right? I'm using God as a metaphor. I don't think he exists or cares. If he's even real. But if he is, I think he gave up a long time ago. Or maybe he has his favorites, just doesn't happen to be you. So, suck it, I guess. Suck it up, buttercup, isn't that what they say? Yeah. Fate was cruel, and here we are. So yeah, if you have anything to offer, just comment it and all that. And this was a horrible video. I talked way too long, but that's what happens when I don't have a script. Anyways, I've wasted enough time. Bye bye.